Good morning, crime community. I'm here to read out another chapter of Squeaky. This chapter is called Aftermath. President Ford had determined to continue with his September 5th schedule as normally as possible. Following his meeting with Governor Brown, the president went on with planned calls on legislative leaders. At 11:54 a.m., Governor Brown, standing at the assembly podium before a joint session of the legislature, declared, "It's really a pleasure to introduce the President of the United States." The legislature gave Ford a standing ovation, and the president delivered his speech, striking exactly to the prepared text. Peace on 10th Street in Sacramento is as important to the people who walk and work there as peace in the Sinai Desert. Ford said, his words taking on special meaning in light of the morning events. One man's or woman's or child's becomes just as dead from a switchblade as from a nuclear missile blast. We must prevent both of them. As the president spoke, an unidentified woman telephoned the UPI Bureau of San Francisco to say that a 60-pound bomb had been placed in the Capitol and would explode at 11:55 a.m., smack in the middle of Ford's address. Security officers frantically searching the building, but Ford ignored the threat, completing his speech a minute behind schedule at 12:06. No bomb was found. At 12:18, another woman called Sacramento's Channel 5 to say that this dude is at the 16th and J Streets with a shotgun and is going to make a try at the president. I'm scared to death, but at least I tried, she said, and hung up. Secret Service agents rushed to 16th and J, but found no dude with a shotgun. Meanwhile, a massive law enforcement effort had rolled out to trace the extent of the presidential assassination plot. Outside the capital, Sacramento, police roped off 30 square yards around the spot where Lynn had been apprehended and searched in vain for a dropped cartridge. Later, a technician covered the grounds with a metal detector, followed by an officer who used a hand shovel to dig up suspicious items. All were found was lost coins. Across the country, tipsters deluged law enforcement agencies with reports of encounters with Squeaky Fromm, real and imagined. An Ohio man told investigators he recently had seen Lynn at a Greek restaurant in Cleveland and overheard her making a threat against President Ford. News agencies scrambled for copies of letters Lynn had sent them, while police departments around the state pulled out their Manson family files for transmittal to federal agents. Authorities in Sonoma County, where James Willett had been murdered by an AB man, that's Aryan Brotherhood, announced that Lynn was wanted for skipping a $35 traffic ticket. At the Secret Service, an intelligence officer was assigned to plumb Bugliosi's helter-skelter for clues about the suspect and quickly drafted a book report for his superiors. Meanwhile, government agents had determined the legal owner of Lynn's pistol. An FBI car headed out to Motherlode, looking for the man intelligence reports identified as Squeaky Fromm's sugar daddy. Despite the early excitement of his relationship with Lynn, Manny Borrow had begun to develop misgivings about his young friend. He muttered to his daughter-in-law, Nelda, that maybe it was time to get away from Lynn, that she was asking for too much money, and sometimes she scared him. Nelda surmised that Lynn was no longer giving Manny sex. On Friday afternoon, Manny was out at his Gold Country Ranch while his son Charles had just gotten home from work. Charles and Nelda answered a knock at the door and were greeted by two FBI agents. To Nelda, the well-groomed officers in their tailored suits were striking, handsome men, attractive in a way rarely seen in rugged Amador County. Charles, however, was unimpressed. When the agents flashed their badges, he sneered, "You can get one of those at any dime store." Charles refused to let the men into the house. The agents reacted politely and insisted that they really were from the FBI. They asked if the Burrows had heard of the day's assassination attempt. Nelda and Charles had. "Were you aware," an agent continued, "that the gun used belonged to Harold Eugene Borrow?" Charles' eyes widened. He invited the FBI men into the house. Into the kitchen, the agents began questioning the Burrows about the Sacramento incident. Too little results. Minutes later, Manny walked in through the back door. He had spent the day among the cows up on the ranch and had heard nothing. Well, said Charles, there's my dad now. Are you Harold Burrow? The agent said. Yes, said Manny, somewhat perplexed. Charles interrupted. My God, Dad, what the hell are you going to do with this broad? This broad used your gun. Nelda tried to moderate. These are federal agents, Manny. They're here over this thing in Sacramento. They're here to talk to you about Squeaky. Manny paled in terror. Oh, my God, he whispered, all but passing out. Nellie thought he looked like he was about to die. The FBI agents took over the proceedings, separated the Burrows into different rooms. One agent stayed with Manny in the kitchen. Nelda told the FBI all she knew about Lynn and Manny, except for the more intimate details of their relationship. To Nelda, the questioning seemed to last for eternity. We're going to end here and continue on with the aftermath tomorrow. That's going to go into a whole bunch of stuff we don't know about yet. So stay tuned and stay happy and awake, and God bless all the children.